great pass. What a catch!
My goodness.
What an amazing catch from Vicky McFarlane.
Highlight reel. Never say yes to the jest. That was fantastic. Sarah Tarkin making a push for home. This is 400 herself. 13 strikeouts for Gabby Snyder and one of the best pitching performances we've seen this season. What a fantastic grab by Emma Burridge. She climbs the ladder and brings it down. Bounce this up the middle, that's going to score a run. Bruins score two. Deep to left field. This is back, and this one is gone. It's magic from Madeline.
Good evening and welcome back to West Beach, Adelaide, South Australia for Wednesday night softball action. Tonight's clash in the Adelaide Club competition is the Seacombe Tigers versus the Port Adelaide Magpies. James Harris here, and alongside me tonight, Mark Cramp and Lee Hull, bringing you the statewide super special comments. Good evening, gentlemen.
Good evening. Good evening, James, and good evening, everybody. And it's a perfect night to play tonight. The wind has subsided, and the ground looks as if it might be a little bit damp, but not unplayable. I think that'll probably suit the game itself. It's going to be a cracker, I believe.
Well, I agree with you, Lee. It's a beautiful night to bring some hot chips down to the ground and just enjoy the atmosphere. It's going to be a cracking game. Scott Radigan's got the shorts on. That just shows you how hot it actually is down here, James.
Well, it's probably not game enough to wear the yellow pants, I would think. So that's why the shorts are on display.
That may be too expensive.
Well, guys, absolutely cracking game for you tonight, the Tigers versus the Magpies. Now, you wouldn't tell it if you had a look at the ladder, the win-loss record, the runs for and against, and, of course, the record between the two teams so far this season. It's so intriguing. 6th place Tigers up against the 4th place Magpies. Previous games played so far this year, who can forget that perfect game from Sutherland Finch, and then second, and that was a 9-0 win to the Magpies.
Game 15, Port Adelaide 6, Seacombe 3. They got a couple of runs on the board in that game on their way to a 4-1 win in game 62, which is only a couple of weeks away.
Just 11 days ago.
11 days ago, so it's a couple of weeks. That's 2 working weeks, so not too far away.
So we actually saw that was the last game that Seacombe played because the way the structure of the competition goes, you don't always play every Wednesday night. And of course, the 7 teams, there's always a bye on a Saturday as well. So 11-day break for the Tigers. Port Adelaide back in the winner's circle. They were desperate for some wins because they got off to that cracking start. 9 wins, no losses. And then their next 7 games, 1 win, 6 losses. So 2 wins since that loss to Seacombe. And they're back in the winner's circle.
It doesn't take much to turn it around, does it, Lee?
No, it doesn't. I think full credit to Seacombe because their last 3 games have been exceptional. They've been the best 3 games they've played this year, notwithstanding the second time they played Port, where they got 3 runs.
All right, here we go. We're going to get underway here. Jade Peterson on the mound for the Tigers. We'll get to that in a moment. Attempted running bunt from Vicky McFarlane was nowhere near it really when you consider the capabilities of this young lady. She is one of the stars of the competition. Vicky McFarlane up to bat for the Magpies. Rushes this one right side through the gap, and she'll lead off the game with a single. Gentlemen, Jade Peterson back for the Tigers. She's had some maternity leave this season because she's had her second child, Nixon. But Kim Reeder was brought over to do the pitching duties as the American import in her absence. First chance back though, here she is on the mound.
Yeah, I see Kim's just batting in this game at this stage. So a good start by the Magpies. And do you expect anything less from a player like Vicky McFarlane? I think the answer is no.
What I'm looking forward to is Jade Peterson. This is making her A-grade debut this year, coming off about 4,000 strikeouts last year. So she'll be keen to get back into the action, I am sure. And she's looking the part so far.
4,200, I think. So McFarlane's going to take 2 bases on this pass ball. Not a bad throw from Peyton Daniels, but she was soft the mark to go and grab it. McFarlane taking 2. Let's watch the statewide super replay. Takes off on the pitch. There's a stolen base attempt from the get-go, and that was what allowed her to take that extra base. Good positioning from Ebony McLean.
A little bit of local knowledge there from Butch Sims too, wasn't there, Lee? Called it early to round second and go to third.
I tell you what, I'd like to see a match race between the quickest players out here. In the grand final day, if they're not playing,
That's what we should do. A
yeah,
sprint race.
I think so.
Give me some of your best. Give me some of your best. Jordan Lambert,
Vicky McFarlane, Sophie King, Maddie Cameron,
Mark Cramp. I got you. I know where you're coming from, Lee.
Welcome back to the ball game. Jade Peterson, that's her first strikeout of the season. And Rita Meyer will come up to bat now for the Port Magpies. She was on fire to start the season, but still in the 3 spot for the Magpies.
And going after that one too, James, probably wants to sort of send a message out to Peterson of Seacombe to say, listen, we were the 4th, we've had you twice, we won't let it happen again.
good call, Mark.
Options bunch up, it goes foul. She's behind in the count 0-2 early.
Yeah, but have a look at Vicky McFarlane, gets away early. That may have been a bit of a squeezer from Coach Sims there. And not afraid to use it either, is he?
No, I think that's aggressive coaching.
Well, that's the Sims way, isn't it? He's very aggressive. He likes the batters to get after the early pitches in the count. Lots of bunts and squeezes and hit and runs. So we'll see plenty of action, particularly when there's runners on base. And that lady on 3rd in scoring position, Vicky McFarlane. As you mentioned, one of the quickest in the competition.
That's up. Peyton Daniels should be chasing that one down. Oh, and a great attempt by Ebony McLean there.
So that's what Ebony's known for. Getting dirty, going for those catches. Just pulled up a little bit short that time.
James,
great effort, though.
Tell me the combination, Jade Peterson, Peyton Daniels. Did that work? They worked together last year. Is this a new combination this year? Like, is it?
This is Peyton's first year in the A-grade competition, and so obviously Jade being away with the pregnancy at the start of the year wouldn't have had much of a chance to work together. Jade has come back. Excuse me, this half of the season. Since Christmas through the B grade, so she's got a couple of games under the belt in the B grade, so Peyton may have been doing some catching with her there. Peterson deals on a 1-2 count. That one was pretty close, and Rita Meyer has watched that one through closely on the inside edge. This one pops up again. Another chance for Meyer, maybe. No, she's caught out, and that is the 2nd out. And McFarlane playing a little bit of funny buggers there on 3rd base. Just trying to maybe even pinch the home plate there with no one covering it, but statewide super replay showed it.
Yeah, it shows Peterson and Chantel Lewis coming in to cover, which is good. And Ebony McLean was the voice out there, so that was great to see.
Quality picture, Jade, isn't she? Look at her. She's right on top of the game straight away. First pitch.
Emily Casuzo is the batter in the box at the moment. Swings at that first one. So again, that Sims style there, just very aggressive intent. Now this one's popped up. Peyton Daniels, she can get an eye on it, has a chance, but that one spills, and you don't want to miss those opportunities, particularly early in the game.
No, that was high, but it was swirling around a little bit up there. I mean, they're hard to get in that position. She did well.
Well, 0-2, so behind the count early here, Catuzo gets after this one, but a good catch on a line drive from Steph Hull. That'll end the first inning for Port Adelaide. They threatened with a lead-off single to McFarlane, who took 2 bases on a stolen base attempt. Statewide super replay will show the 3rd out of the inning. Well read off the bat, and Well, Hull was in pretty close with 2 out with that runner on third, wasn't she? Didn't want to take any chances.
I think Port will be very disappointed with that. You get the lead-off batter around at third, and then she doesn't move from there. Got to do better with that. Just get when they go the sacrifice bunch, get the ball in the play, give her a chance to run. Even if you play squeeze, Vicky's going to just about beat everything out on the squeeze play.
Well, I'll put a positive spin on that, and I'll say that Seacombe would have been very happy with that.
Yeah.
They take out 1, 2, 3, the four batters, 1 strikeout, a flyer to the catcher, and a line drive to second base. So that's not a bad innings for Seacombe.
Yeah, we didn't get a chance to go through the Seacombe defence. Perhaps we'll do that in the change of innings next. But Leroy, if you want to give us the Port lineup for us.
I certainly will. Thank you, James. Around the diamond at first base, it's Emily Cattuso. Third base, it's Ella Forrester. And in the holes at second base and shortstop, it's Jess Neves and Vicky McFarlane. And the outfield from left to right, Charlize Callahan comes in, young player. Left field, Talia George at centre, and Rita Meyer at right. The battery is Katie Sutherland-Finch to Abby Mossman, and the bench hitters Georgia Murphy, Maddie Matchke, and Larissa Tarasenka.
All right, guys, I just want to clarify, Rita Meyer. Rita Meyer is the player in question out at right field, not Meyer.
Well, Rita Meyer wants me to call her Meyer because when I say Meyer the flyer running the bases, she wants that. So you can catch up with her after, James, if you wish, but that's gospel.
If Lee Hull gives you a nickname, you go with it, don't you? You change your name, basically.
Yeah, certainly, like he did. Here we go, Katie Sutherland-Finch throwing for the Magpies, and a change-up first pitch, and 1 pitch, 1 out. Jenny Dunn, the veteran, on this Seacombe lineup. They would have been looking for some leadership from her. However, a pop-up on a change-up. So good start from Sutherland-Finch and good calling from the young catcher at Port Adelaide. That's Abby Mossman. Of course,
Last time they played Seacombe and Port, Jenny Dunn hit the first pitch for a single out the right field.
All right, well, that one come down. It's a bit different from the change-up. That come down at 101, James.
Well, we'd expect to see that dialed up just a little bit as the game goes on. Sutherland-Finch will look to find her feet. This one here low, but close enough for Hull to have a swing at, and 0-2 behind the count early. So Sutherland-Finch just going to work on these Tigers hitters that got onto her last time they played 4 runs to 1. I think it was on 7 or 8 hits.
And they're bringing that swinging momentum into this game, but not connecting at the moment.
Well, interesting that we haven't seen the rise ball yet. Maybe she's keeping that one just in the back pocket at the moment, because that was the one that did all the damage way back when. What was that, in October? When she threw that 18 strikeout, perfect game. And there's that change up again on young gun Cara Schultz.
It's very hard to pick the change up from this pitcher.
$104. Yep. A little bit on that one.
That
looks like she means business of the hyphenator this evening.
Was low, but probably caught the very bottom of the zone, so we won't see too many called lower than that tonight. And great catching from Mossman. I saw it go to the outside edge there, and Hall of Famer Neville Lawrence likes the outside edge, and even though it's off the plate, the umpires do like to call it, so you've got to protect it. Even though the batters can't reach it. And another strikeout to Sutherland-Finch. He's happy with that. High fives to Mossman. And look at the smiles as the Magpies defence comes out and off the diamond.
I don't know who was more excited there, Coach Sims, which was very happy with that 3 up, 3 down, as you would be, I suppose. But this one he wants, I think, after the comeback from Seaton in the last game.
Yeah, Lee, we spoke prior to the game about what you think might be the tip for tonight's game, who's going to win and by how much, and your prediction was a draw. So
yeah, I'm going 3-all draw. What about you, Mark?
I'm going to go 5-1 Port's way.
So interesting to note that you both, predicted that there's going to be high, or not high runs, but runs scored in this game. Well, we've only seen one base runner so far, and you know, although Jade is a pretty renowned pitcher, and she threw a heap of strikeouts last year, and Team of the Year selection as well as backup pitcher behind Gabby Snyder, but they've still got a gun just sitting there waiting in the dugout. So it'll be interesting to see how Radigan uses the US import tonight.
Yes, that will have a big bearing.
Here is one of the pitches. Up to bat now, it's Katie Sutherland Finch. We have seen her hit 3 home runs so far this season, and when she hits them, they stay hit.
Never faced Peterson either, so she'll be going after her too. That's the nature of the hyphenator, isn't it, Lee? She doesn't mind who's throwing them.
No,
she's going to swing.
She's a powerful young lady. Umpires for tonight's game, it's the Hall of Famer Neville Lawrence on plate, Kevin Tannerman's at first, and David 180B Datsun is at third.
The classic. Peterson deals. Sutherland Finch just jammed up on that one. Shortstop Cara Schultz.
Oh, such good throw.
Makes a good play on a couple of bounces on this hard deck here at West Beach. When there's no moisture in the pit, in the diamond, it can come off with an odd bounce. We saw one just a couple of weeks ago. Poor Mackenzie Ween on a hard shot. The ball bounced over her head. Can you believe it? So 1 out. Change of pace from Peterson, and she says to Sutherland Finch, whatever you can do, I can do better on that pitch that came down. It had a nasty spin on it. Cordella Forrester swinging on that aggressive first pitch, swing and strike.
Yeah, that's right. I'm liking Seacombe in the field too at the moment. Like, they've had a little bit of work to do, haven't they? It hasn't all been one-way traffic with the pitcher, and Schultz has come along well. I think this is the first time I've seen her at shortstop personally. I know she's played there before, but first time I've seen her there, so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, she did have to charge that last play. I'd like to see her fielding and perhaps a little bit deeper, both the pivot players, because of those shots that do go in the gap. Then you can get more coverage either to your left or to your right. However, what you give up in distance, you know, you might not have got that 6-3 that she just got on Sutherland Finch, just the batter previous.
Well, Sutherland Finch is no slouch in the speed department either, as Lee, we were talking about, you know, quick runners earlier, and Cara beat her a good 4 or 5 steps off the base, so she could give herself a couple of steps back. I think you're right, James.
The foul ball just popped up, and a full count now on Forrester. So she's done well to get herself back in the count, or get to a 3-1 count on that previous pitch after swinging at that first change-up. Payoff pitch. Swing and a miss.
There we go.
That's her second strikeout of the game for Peterson, the second out of the inning. And that brings up to bat Jess Neves.
And that was experience then from Jade, wasn't it? She loves it when she's got 2 strikes on the batters. Invariably, she sits them down.
She's got a little bit of variance in her pitches, Lee. Like you say, she can play around, she can zing it in there. It's sort of, she's an all-round pitcher. I wouldn't say she blows them away with her pace. No. I think she blows them away with her smarts, which is a good attribute to have.
Wily old fox on the mound. So I've always said that a softball player gets better as they get older because they get smarter, and you know what she would know from her games of playing, and you know she's edging the Seacombe club record as well, by the way. So she's a veteran of this club and this game, like a Glenelg junior player, 10 years as a state representative or around about that, and she's
it says it
so
all.
much experience under the belt, so she will know. She'll know the hitters that she's thrown to. She'll know what comes out the best. 0-2 count here on Neves, a change up, and Ebony McLean at third base. Just
she hung on to that a bit.
Yeah, she couldn't get a grip on it from the looks of things, and maybe pumped that extra one time too many. And the speed of Neves has seen her arrive safely, forcing that defensive pressure. And Humphreys, or Lewis, married name, has just couldn't quite get that pickup. Catcher Abby Mossman up to bat now.
Nice to see Chantel Lewis back in playing. It's a while since she played, I think.
Well, she plays in Central Districts as well for the Valley View Club.
Yep.
And,
She started off the year, didn't she? She came out
well, she plays for both.
Yep.
Rico from memory, is that correct?
Last season, yeah, just in her second game back in the Adelaide competition after a couple of years back in the CDSA, and it's good to see her back out playing in this Adelaide Club competition. But at first base, I might have thought that she'd be a middle infielder, but
You could have got that one, James. As a foul ball back to the commentary position.
so Seacombe going about their business pretty well here. They've only been tested the once, and that was from Vicky McFarlane. The field has held up besides maybe just that last play, but it was a good clean take in the field, a strikeout swinging.
Oh, so I just said a bit of a no there. I was like, why is she throwing that, James? But that was side on a third strikeout for the game, and the runner went, and I think Peyton Daniels just got a bit excited like I did.
Well, I like that play from Sims when there's 2 strikes and 2 out on the batter. I don't see anything wrong with the runner on first stealing, take on the defense. If it's a ball, you know, you might have a runner in scoring position. If it's a strike, well, you know, no harm, no foul. It'll be interesting to see how this game pans out because you know, both defenses have been pretty good so far, and both pitchers are looking the good. So will we see Rita later on in the game?
Be interesting.
She's not carrying an injury. Has anyone heard or know
No,
anything?
I haven't heard anything. Just batting at the moment.
In the DP position,
so
she's a bit of power coming up in the Seacombe lineup now, isn't there? Maslin and Rita, then Lewis, then McLean. So, you know, all of them swing the bat hard. And
then have a look at 8 and 9, the dangerous 2 girls, Munro and Daniels.
Yeah.
So,
and they're both great young players as well, coming through the ranks. And I think Munro might even be up there in the team's batting averages, and Daniels just improving every week.
Now we had Kim Redder on the commentary team a while ago, and we're talking about batters, or pitchers that bat. Well, tonight she gets her opportunity. And hello, Jess Maslin goes after that one, James.
Yeah, that's why I throw change up to her.
The rise ball on the outside edge, and she's still able to get her hands to the ball.
Yeah.
So if Sutherland Finch slots one here, Maslin, it looks like she'll be all over it. Change up, got a good running bunt, put down.
Lee Ho. He called the change up, and she picked it.
Great work from Maslin, the running bunt. Caught everyone unawares after that big cut, her first pitch. Statewide Super Replay shows it. She lays it down perfectly and legs it out without even a throw coming over. She's happy with that. Lead-off runner on for the Tigers.
Yeah, look how late that was, James. You called it too, didn't you? You said she got around real late, caught everybody by surprise.
That rise ball sounded like it came through hard because of the grunt, but it was just 99 Ks and hit the back of the net, allowing Maslin to get into scoring position. Well, if Rita can get a piece of the ball here, she can score a run. So left field's back a little deeper than normal, but I would say centre field's in pretty tight, as is right field.
I tell you what, for someone that doesn't bat too much these days, or allowed to bat, she looks the part. She watched those 2 quite comfortably, didn't she, guys?
Yes, she did, and I think she's a danger right here.
Oh, big cut at the ball, a 2-0 count. So a hitter's count, wasn't it? And she knew it, so she went for it.
Change up will come now.
Yeah,
surely.
the head went significantly first on that swing. She was looking where the ball was going to land and then thought, I better hit it.
I'll be looking for off pace.
Rise ball in the left-hander's batter's box, but Rita was trying to cover the zone, but check swing, so 2-2 count now. So Sutherland Finch might be able to play with her a bit here, so this was where we might see that change of pace. Mossman sets up way outside. That is a foot off the plate.
Yeah. That's the waste pitch. Trying to get her interested, but now I'd still throw the change up here.
Rita fouls this one off. This one, there was a good setup from Mossman because she's gone outside, and then tries to break her inside, but Rita's hands inside the ball, able to foul it off. So she stays alive in the count.
Both Maslin and her look like they can get onto the quick stuff in this particular innings. So has to be changed.
Well, Lee, if you say it often enough, mate, it's bound to happen one time.
Now I know how he gets his predictions. He just calls it change up
well,
at
at the
every
moment,
pitch.
at the moment it's 87% to 13 wrong.
60% of the time, it works every time. What's...
I don't know.
So Sims has just come out just to give a bit of a warning to his battery that the signals are being relayed from second base. So if you're going to give a single signal or you're going to give away the location, you make sure you cover it up. And that's the message that Sims just gave then. So full count, runner on to bottom of the second. And ball 4, so Rita takes a 7 or 8 pitch at bat and gets herself a walk. Runners on first and second.
When you wouldn't read about it, Lee Hull predicted it.
Change up. Okay, Chantel Humphreys back to the action. The guys in the box here. 1-7 for the Tigers. Chantel Lewis showing off the new ink there on the right shoulder, and she can hit the ball as well. Former junior state representative herself, Chantel Humphreys has a cut at that one. Coach of the Valley View Eagles in the NAMSA competition, the men's comp coach.
That's fantastic.
Yes. Not a bad team, that too, I hear.
Very good side, sitting second on the NAMSA ladder and top of the table clash this Friday night. As an attempted bunt, gets away from her a little. Maslin got a massive lead there. She was just waiting for that ball to hit the deck so she could leg it out to third.
Just needs to throw hard with his skill.
That was high and outside, so a bit of excitement from both dugouts. One because it was close, the other because it was left. So good read of the pitch there from Lewis. Big cut and a swing and a miss. 102 mark. She's just dialed it up that little bit extra there. So
Hard.
interesting to note that a lot of people just thought that Sutherland Finch was blowing everyone away with her pace, and it's always been the movement and control that she's got that have been her weapon. So.
Well, I just watched that last one there on the third strike on Chantel Lewis, and even though Chantel got around at the right time and swung it for connection, it just tailed up, just kicked, didn't it? It just kicked. If you watch it on the replay, it just kicked up just over a bat. Good movement, good control.
Ball call on Ebony McLean. That was outside and down, so good read so far from McLean into a hitter's count with 2-0. Runners on first and second with just the one out.
For those, oh, sorry mate, so I was just about to say, for those of you at home that are interested, it's 102 kilometres an hour coming from Katie Sutherland Finch and about 67 kilometres an hour going back to her. So that just shows you how well she's throwing underarm, this girl.
Big cut from McLean yet again. She just gets under that one a little, and she evens up the count at 2-2 with that swinging strike. So needs to go back to that, protecting the zone like she did earlier in the count. Watches that one through for a third consecutive strike. That one was looking. And Sutherland Finch has got her team back into a good position with 2 outs. And young Munro up to bat.
As I said, throw hard to these next 2 batters. He needs to throw hard to this girl. Can hit Araha.
Well, that one hits the back fence on the full. 101 on the back net. Maslin hits to third. Rita moves across to second. So now the runners move both runners into scoring position, but a pass ball will be a run now, whereas before it was only a single base.
Well, that's the second or third one that's hit the net in 2 innings. So you play those odds, you stay patient, and you see as many pitches as you can.
And you may get another one and score a run. That's right. At the moment, hasn't hurt him. Just needs to throw hard, keep it out of the dirt and down.
1-1 count on Munro, big cut, and Just lifted her head a little bit on that one. Hey guys, coming up in the next segment, Statewide Super Volunteer of the Week. Great new segment recognising the work and efforts of our volunteers for this great sport. High and outside for a ball. Gee, that was good from Munro because, you know, a batter early in the season may have been tempted to swing at that one, yet
you're
she
100%
stayed
right.
off it.
I was just about to say, mature batting from Munro. The same girl would have swung at that.
Gets her this time with a very similar pitch, so great to see the fire in Port Adelaide continues. They are really, they stamped their authority after giving up 2 cheap base runners there. One was on a running bunt and then the other on a walk, and so she stepped it up a bit, didn't she, Sutherland Finch?
Yep. 5K2s, he's saying?
5K2s.
I think I just put the kibosh on Munro, which is I apologise for that. Well, the commentator's curse.
We keep doing that, don't we?
But in our defence, if someone's playing well, you'd like to say you're doing a great job.
Yeah, of course. Very good point, Mark. And that's why you are one of the best in the business, part of the call team here on Spacequake Sports, brought to you by Statewide Super MC Sportswear, MK Services SA, and of course Softball SA. But we've seen it, guys. Here is the pitching change. Kim Reeder comes into the game after 2 short innings from the Port Magpies, and the designated player becomes a pitcher, and they are
lazy 108 in warm-ups, James, so she's coming out now with a vengeance. She would like to take this game to a W, and consistent 3 in a row at 108. Maybe we're just dialed in at 108, but
so she's a good 8 or 9 k's an hour faster than Sutherland Finch. Let's see if she's got the control and the movement to match. She's a big unit. She towers over everyone in that infield.
Very tall and well-built girl. Does a lot of gym work too. Those that are following her Facebook page or her pitching clinic page, she does work out a fair bit on the arms. And 109 to start with.
Oh, she's dialed in. That was a curveball, so probably not, you know, your go-to pitch if you wanted to hum one down there. And
where was she facing? The number 9 batter. Those number 9 batters, Lee, they're the dangerous ones, but you try and keep the ball away as much as you can. Starting off with the curveball is probably a little bit ambitious. And that's exactly what we were just talking about, Lee. You throw the bat at something that's coming at you relatively fast.
It may go back again, and that was a good sign. She'll probably throw change up now, Kim. She's got a nice change up. Doesn't throw it often.
I'm going to fall off my chair if it is. .110 km/h change up. That's not too bad.
Well, that wasn't anywhere near the zone, so...
Adam Polkart throws his change up about 110, believe it or not. Normally in and around mid-130s. Good down ball there. Another one at 110. Gets a strikeout victim, her first batter up to bat. That was the 9-hitter, Charlize Callahan. Of course, in our under-15 development team that went away earlier in the year. So, you know, let's have a look at her now up against an ace of this competition, and Vicky McFarlane.
Well, you just saw her last, during that bat, Jim. She fired one down to first base, and this will be the telling one, as you're saying. Lead-off batter, Vicky McFarlane. Not afraid to see 110 kilometres an hour, and will go after it, Lee, won't she?
She certainly will.
Change of pace, and Evelyn McLean just caught on her heels there because McFarlane had a big cut at that one. She's got to take that extra base. And Rita wasn't even looking, so communication.
How smart is she, McFarlane?
Just takes every opportunity. Let's watch the Statewide Super replay. On the off-speed pitch, McLean had to pick it up backhand. She held off on the throw, which she probably had no chance because there was no one covering second. Talia George now, runner on second. Good cover there from Schultz as she moves over to third to try to stop McFarlane from taking that extra base. She's got to try and take every base she can. She's shown her intent so far in this game.
She's so dangerous, isn't she, when she can use her wheels?
She will antagonise everyone on that diamond out there at second base, and someone will make a mistake. That's the kind of player she is. She's constantly looking for that advantage, and give her a little glimpse and she'll take it.
Well, she adds that defensive pressure. Great bunt there from George, and McLean has to hold that throw again, and there we go. McFarlane will score the first. Just waiting on that mistake, and the Tigers have just had a lapse of concentration there. Full credit to Talia George. Statewide Super Replay is on McFarlane. She takes off as she sees that ball hit the deck. She turns first, watches where the throw goes, and she'll cross the plate. Uncontested. Here we go. Second look at that Statewide Super Replay. Great bunt from George. McLean may have been able to watch that one go foul, but took it on. Now Sims sees a chink in the armour of the Tigers, and she goes straight to the bunt to Meyer. It is
Metro Golden Meyer.
Well, you just said it differently.
Well, I just trying to please you, James, but thanks for your update. That's what Rita said. Rita told my daughter, let him call me Meyer when I'm running the bases, Meyer the flyer. So let's see if that happens tonight.
Well, she tried to do the running bunt. She's behind in the count 0-2, so she'll have to put that one away. Talia George on first after a great running bunt. That one up and out of the zone. Coming in pretty quick at 110. Look at the concentration on her face. Very determined young lady. Fouls that one off. And when I say young, we're all young at heart, aren't we, in this sport of softball? He's in that Masters age group, and the Australian Masters Games registrations are open. And we are, of course, very excited to have the Australian Masters Games return to Adelaide in October this year. Great change of pace. Just takes a lazy 40 k's an hour off that pitch. Coming in at about 70 odd k's an hour. And it was spinning viciously away from Meyer as well. That is the second out. But Port Adelaide have done the damage in this inning, courtesy of McFarlane and George, who is on first. Two's up to bat now. Swing and a miss on the first one.
Well, Emily Cattuso hit that line drive to second base in the first innings.
Yes, you can hit the ball, Emily, but you throw off pace, you won't hit it.
Going back there, James, the Australian Masters, very exciting and a very, very good tournament run by Softball SA and all our other partners and the Australian Masters Games, and we've got a strikeout there.
Well, 3 out now. That was on a change-up from Rita. So we saw a couple of change-ups there for you in that inning lead. 2 strikeouts to end the inning, 3 for the game. But it was this play right here on the Statewide Super Replay. McLean actually checked the runner on third before she turned to throw to first. And it was just the late Hull at second base that had to take one on the bounce. No, I don't think so. She probably could have left it and it may have gone foul as well. But that's probably one of those ones that you don't want to risk.
Yeah, but I mean, throwing the ball, the runner, you can see that Talia George was already at first base. You don't need to sort of let it go and chase the runner. That's one of the biggest no-nos in softball, isn't it, Lee?
Yes,
you chase the runner because inevitably you're going to get yourself a bit of an error. But that's experience, isn't it?
Yeah, and Vicky McFarlane just shows how super smart she is on bases. If you're catching and you're a young catcher like Peyton is, you don't know where she's going because she'll go to the next base while you think about throwing it.
Well, I said that, didn't I, when she was at second base? I said she'll just antagonise, she'll get big jumps, she'll lead. And that's the sort of player you want in your team where they're just going to make their opposition think, is she going to go? She's not going to go, and I'm nervous. But whereas normally the fielding team control or dictate what's happening out there. That's
true, that's very true. 100% correct to steal somebody else's thunder.
And the team themselves are just huddled there, Port Adelaide. They're excited about that. They know they're one up in a very tight game. I may have shot myself in the foot with the 5-1, but you got to start with 1 to get to 5, don't you? They tell me.
So they tell me. It's a while since I've been to school, though.
105, stepped it up a bit there, Jim.
Yeah, when you're challenged as a player, you generally do step it up, don't you? And the egos of the pitchers in our game, they will definitely be wanting to one-up each other. So not surprised that Sutherland Finch has just dialed up a lot, another notch there. And she's already ahead of the count here on Daniels 0-2.
Bottom of the third, we're seeing Peyton Daniels for the first time lead. 9 up, 9, well, not 9 outs, but 9 up, and we've had a couple of runners left on base, but we have had 9 sided away. So that's a good start for Port Adelaide.
Yeah, well, she's been doing a terrific job as the catcher. She's a young person, and so full credit to her. Now we're at the top with Jenny Dunn. I'm thinking Jenny will get a hit here somewhere, out the right field or somewhere like that.
Well, Jenny Dunn will want to make amends, won't she, Lee?
Well, yeah, she's been a great player for a long time and continues.
There's that change-up that she got to face the first pitch of the game, and she has a bit of a chuckle at herself on that one.
I was just about to say, is that now please don't inundate me with comments, but is that arrogance from Sutherland Finch or confidence that you throw another one? James, sorry.
This one popped up to centre field. Tully George taking a good catch, and Jenny Dunn got a piece of that one. It was no, if you get a batter on a pitch, you should stay with it, because you know, if you can find a weakness on a hitter, you try and exploit it. So,
well, why change something that's working?
Yeah, and I only say that because we're here at the ground and we both saw him have a bit of a chuckle about it. You said it. So I thought, okay, it's either confidence or it's, yes, you're right, I know what you're going to do if I throw you a change-up. And that's good. That's a good thing to have.
the thing we saw from Jenny Dunn then was she got to the back of the box, and that's what Steph Hull has done as well. So this is a bit of a change of tactic from what we normally see here in
No, that's dead ball.
the Adelaide Club competition. We do see a lot of the batters up the front of the box, and particularly those that want to play the short game, because they want best opportunity for the ball to stay fair. But really trying to take on Sutherland Finch just by moving back in the box just a little bit.
Well, I always say, and with the developing juniors, you just take that half a step, because that half a step is going to give you that little 1 inch or half an inch when you're swinging. Now, Coach Radigan, in his own right, is a fantastic swinger of the bat. And I think he was the batting coach at the State Girls for a little while, or or was working with them. He'll be saying just to creep back and go after it. And as we see, we went after it, but they missed.
Well, that is strikeout number 7 for Sutherland Finch, and doesn't she make it look easy, because she wastes no time, she gets ahead of the count, and then she lets the batters just chase after her. So we are flying through this game as we get to the bottom of, we're back to the top of the 5th inning. Now we're already through 4, and Sutherland Finch will be up to bat, and we are about to be joined by a very special guest, and it is, of course, this week's statewide Super Volunteer of the Week from the Seacombe Tigers Softball Club. As we just let her settle in here, listen to the resume of this lady. Her roles during the year include the SA Dragons, went on a tour to Singapore earlier in the season, under-17 state team manager. With the Seacombe Tigers, she's on their committee. She's the club treasurer. She's the equipment officer. She's a scorer for the club. She is the team manager for the A's, the B's, and the under-17s. Where do you find the time, Carla Munro?
I don't know where I find the time. I don't know. I guess, I had to put my hand up and help out with my girls playing in the club. Clubs are always after volunteers, so you've got to help out someone.
Well, we are working in partnership with Statewide Super to recognise the efforts of our volunteers. Carla, I will call the action in between questions. Sutherland Finch up to bat. Let's quickly talk about their game. The Seacombe Tigers down 1-0. It's the top of the 5th, so they're running out of chances. What's the feeling like in the dugout at the moment? You've taken the time away from scoring. Are the girls up and about? They don't think they're out of it yet at all?
No, they're going all right. They're positive on their bench. They're up at the fence, so it's not over yet. So they'll keep going. They'll give it all.
So the Munro name is pretty famous now, isn't it? It's getting around a little bit through Softball SA. You two girls both play for the Seacombe club as well. So Courtney and Adaha.
Yep, they do.
And you obviously follow them around a little.
Just a little. I've got to get there somehow. So yeah, they've been doing it for a few years now. So
must bring you huge enjoyment to be part of the game and seeing your girls sort of grow up in the sport, and as we see Sutherland Finch go down on strikes. The enjoyment that you get, Carla, out of being a part of it. Just have a look up there, Carla. Just on camera. Carla Munro, our statewide Super Volunteer of the Week, and one out now for Port Adelaide, top of the 5th. So enjoyment, you love the game, you love supporting the girls.
Yeah, for sure. If I'm not here for a game, you can guarantee they'll have a good game. So I enjoy coming down here. Not only my girls, but the rest of the girls on the team. They're a good bunch of girls on all of the teams. So they're good to be around.
Forrester fouling this one off. So what is it that drew you to softball in the beginning?
In the beginning, it literally was my eldest daughter, Courtney, just wanting to play. So I just got dragged into it, I guess, had to bring her down here, and her first coach conned the new parents into
helping out.
Out, so it started from there, I guess.
Strikeout watching there from Forrester, so Rita just dialing it up a little bit, 2 strikeouts so far in this inning from the first 2 batters. Carla, you're from a Maori family, a proud Maori, and did you come over from New Zealand? Were you, or did you grow up in Adelaide?
No, so born in New Zealand, been all over Australia really, and settled in Adelaide maybe 10, 11 years ago, and the girls have been playing softball for most of that. So yeah, New Zealand born, but I guess Aussie,
yeah. Well, we do know that the New Zealand men's team are the best in the world, and we saw the TAB Challenge just recently. Our own Jared Farrell was over there playing for the Aussie Steelers, and New Zealand, of course, had their 2 teams playing in that one there. Do you get to see much of the softball from back home, or are you mostly just concentrating on the Adelaide competition and state teams and the Dragons program? You've got too much going on.
Yeah. I caught a little bit of the Challenge Cup, which is good to see, but I don't get to see a lot of that. No, most of my time's down here at West Beach.
Well, we just saw another strikeout, so 3 up, 3 down, and 3 strikeouts. Carla, they might not want you back in the dugout there. They did very well that inning.
That's okay. They can score, and I'll stay here.
Of course, I'm only kidding there. So on screen right now is Carla Munro, the statewide Super Volunteer of the Week. Carla, I'll wrap it up pretty soon, but what's going to happen to your weekends now as the season wraps up next month?
I know, I'm already enjoying the Sundays off actually. That's been good. And yeah, there's always something else to be done though. But I will enjoy a few weeks off before some winter training, I guess, for Aroha, and I'll enjoy it while I can. That's
good to hear that she'll be back on the diamond in the off season, because we've really enjoyed watching her grow up through the ranks, and she's got a very good opportunity to start of this year as the A-grade pitcher as well. I bet you that was a thrill for you to see. Just 15 years of age.
It was a thrill. It was good. It was good to see, but yeah, she did struggle a little bit, maybe just a little too young yet. Good experience for her, but she'll get there.
I think she did great. All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Carla Munro. You are the statewide Super Volunteer of the Week, and of course, you can nominate your statewide Super Volunteer of the Week by contacting admin@softballsa.com.au. Here is your certificate. Thanks to Statewide Super and Softball SA. Carla Munro, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, how about that, guys? Carla Munro, statewide Super Volunteer of the Week. She doesn't have a spare moment, does she?
No, thoroughly deserved though, James, as all our volunteers when they receive their certificate. No, Carla just loves the sport.
Sorry, James, great work. We've got to catch up on that last innings by Kim Ritter, because that was a cracker, Lee, wasn't it?
Certainly
For
was.
those that are playing at home, while you catch your breath there, James, and have a bit of a drink. I think we saw how many strikeouts there?
She's
Lee?
six
Up to
strikeouts she's had already, Kim.
So she's come into the game now with a little bit of sting in it, and Sergeant Schultz goes after that. Two really good swings, left the first strike, but swung at that high one and missed it, unfortunately, for Seacombe.
Yes, Sergeant Schultz, I see nothing, and she certainly didn't hit it.
No. So, James, that was a good interview, and the Munro family, you're right, are starting to create a bit of a path into Softball SA.
Yeah, and you know, Araha Munro is playing in this game, and she's just a talent and loves the sport and loves giving back, and she loves trying to find that little bit extra as well, because she's had some good pitching coaches in the past, including Catherine Bishop as well, who's a very famous name in Softball SA from 2 years ago.
Oh.
And Maslin,
Look at that.
into the game, and she absolutely laced that one out into left field. So I was just about to say, guys, this is the part of the lineup where the Tigers got things rolling the first time round, as we see the statewide super replay. Will we see it again from these hitters? Short answer to that is yes. Maslin on first. She kept her elbow guard on to run base. I just picked that one up. Kim Reader up to bat.
That was the best shot of the night so far.
Oh, Kim Reader pushes that out to right field too, and that's going in, and just foul ball too.
Did you see her? Did she pull out of that at the last moment, just so, because she was running the opposite way, she would have to stop, turn around and throw, and that could have given up a precious base to the runner. So is that a chance that she took, or do you think
it's hard to say. I think I would have been going horizontal at that myself.
Well, she's got the experience. She's clever enough. So, James, maybe you read it right.
I think so. I think he's, and full credit to him, because that's a good call.
They do not want to give up. Now, that reminds me, Lee, while I interrupt, sorry. I played right field in an All-Stars game not long ago, and I watched the replay about 155 times, because the great man told me I should have let that ball drop and it would have bounced in fair, and I caught it
in fair territory?
In fair territory.
Well, you were probably 100 metres closer to the ball than what I was, so that's fair comment. But thanks for bringing it up.
No, it's all right. My memory's as good as yours. I only just remembered then. That was
That's
only
all right.
6 months ago.
That's all right, Bill.
Oh, Kim Reader checked on that one and copped one for her trouble. So that one inside.
Did she check, Jim? Or did she have a bit of a swing and then pull out?
Let's see it on the statewide super replay. And watch it here. Nah, she definitely held back on that. There was no swing there, and it was hit in the forearm. So Coach Sims will just come out to double check, but you don't want to call this one a check swing if you see the statewide super replay on this one.
He's going to check with the other, or he's checking with Kevin Tannerbring. He said, nah.
Well, Kevin Tannerbring was Johnny on the
statewide
spot.
super replay did show that she did not check swing, so the right call made.
Well, they're on first and second of the game, the two big girls, and but this time there's one out where there was none out before. They let it off, Jess Maslin, the previous time.
Low, but in the zone from Sutherland Finch, and
it's an interesting game, isn't it?
well, this is where she stepped it up a notch, didn't she?
Yeah.
This time 2 innings ago. So let's see if she steps it up again.
It just shows in the game of softball you don't need a lot of runs being scored for it to be exciting.
And to win, you only need to get one more run than the opposition.
Thank you, Einstein.
No worries. Oh, Lee, I take that as a compliment, because they tell me you went to school with him.
Yeah, school friends.
Only reform school.
That was sharp as attack from Mark Cramp, bringing you all the statewide super special comments. Hey, normally we go around the grounds thanks to MK Services SA. Tonight's game on Diamond 2 was postponed just due to a sprinkler burst, as we see Lewis go down on strikes on that rise ball from Sutherland Finch. Yeah, so MK Services SA, we still want to mention our partners in our sport and our coverage, because they are very precious to us. And so that game between Sturt and Walkerville will be played tomorrow night. And so if you're watching from home, that's why we haven't brought you an update of that game. Ebony McLean watching this one through.
Well, will Jess and Kim get stranded of the game in this innings? I'm thinking yes.
I was just about to ask the same question. Lee, you're all over it. I mean, look, 3 strikeouts in a row. At this time, last innings.
Swing and a miss from McLean. Well, we saw the 2-strike, 2-out stolen base attempt from Port Adelaide a couple of innings ago. Well, we see something here because a drop third strike, you know, might create an opportunity, or, you know, a single might see a score. I would really like to see some action on the bases from Seacombe, because we haven't seen it yet. With these 2 batters have got on base, singles and walks both times, and they haven't moved.
I think they
With
should
5
run.
outs.
They should run on this pitch because it'll be high and it'll be a K2.
My question, Lee, after this pitch from Sutherland Finch.
Swing and a miss. So Lee's called it again on that rise ball. So 2 runners on, 2 runners left on for the Tigers, and Port Adelaide hold on real tight to that 1-run lead as we go in to the top of the 6th inning.
Well, they can't say they've had no chances because they've looked dangerous in both those innings, haven't they?
The middle
Just
order.
need to keep working at it.
The middle order. The question I was just about to ask you is the downfall of Seacombe, or at the moment, the fact that they don't have someone like Vicky McFarlane, Jordan Lambert, a Pipka Atkins, the one that's that aggressive base runner with wheels.
They've got Jenny Dunn,
They've
and
got Jenny Dunn,
normally she's the one.
Yep.
It'd be handy if they had another.
Yes, Jenny's their answer.
And she's the lead off, and unfortunately,
Yeah,
hasn't
she's had
been
that.
on.
She had a pop up and a.
That's right.
What was it? Second turn it back, guys. Can you remind me of that one? A fly ball to
Fly
centre
to,
field.
centre.
So she's
Yeah,
got bat
so-
on ball, and so she will come up around third batter next inning, and that will be a great time for Jenny Dunn to step up for the Tigers. There is a change as we see a new hitter come in. Georgia Murphy's going to have a pinch hit now. She was the catcher earlier in the season for Sutherland Finch. She caught that amazing game. It's over 1 million views on Facebook. So she is a viral catcher, as you would say, on social media. With that perfect game she caught to Sutherland Finch in October last year.
And there's a change in the Seacombe defence at right field. Araha Munro sits out and Becky Havis comes in.
Will that be a change? That'll be a change for the hitting lineup as well, I'd suggest.
Yes, I think so.
Give Becky
She
a
may
swing at the
stay in, I think. Just see if they can, Scott Ruddigan, just try and get something happening just to help the girls that are getting on base, i.e. Jess and Kim.
That last pitch was 109, and it didn't even look like she got out of second gear, did it? That one was a bit harder. Also 109.
Oh, that just bounced up there and hit the speed trap.
Two balls, 2 strikes on the hitter Murphy. We just tick over the 55-minute mark, believe it or not. Top of the 6th inning. We'll get through 7 without any trouble tonight.
Quick game's a good game, so they say.
And a 1-0 ball game, 4th place versus 6th place, and just the quality that we're seeing tonight, just a credit to this competition.
Oh, and he gets her. She gets her.
And a strikeout looking Murphy just has a bit of a wry smile and a bit of a laugh because she thought that one was a little inside, but caught the inside edge. Let's watch a statewide super replay. Also at the back of the box. Belt high down the middle.
Yeah, I don't know if that was a...
Maybe
I
she's
can't
laughing.
believe she called me, or I can't believe I left it.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Now, Lee and I have spoken about this a couple of Wednesdays ago. I think you and I spoke about it last Wednesday, James. The quality for all the way now, and then the latter half of the season, with you got the bottom place beating, so Seacombe beating the top place Walkerville at the time. It's turning out to be a great competition towards the latter half of the year, isn't it?
Nil-all draw it was, Mark. It was just a couple of weeks ago where Seacombe were sitting bottom with Walkerville on top of the ladder. It was a 0-all draw, believe it or not. I thought someone told me it was a soccer game, but 0-all to in the A-grade competition between top and bottom.
That's right.
So absolutely spot on, Mark. The quality of this competition just continues. And we see Charlize Callahan up to bat. Looks like a confident young player here, just 15. She's played a couple of A-grade games already this season.
Confident swinging at a pitcher like Kim, isn't it, from a young player, which is great to see.
Yeah, particularly when it's coming in at 110 as well.
Yep.
So how important is this out right here for the Tigers with Vicky McFarlane on deck?
I tell you what, James, I was just thinking exactly the same thing. We could be brothers or twins, whatever you like to say. I saw Vicky McFarlane quickly run around there and I thought, wowee, if she gets on, this young lady, Vicky McFarlane has got the opportunity to smack it and push her around, hasn't she?
Well, the outfielders dropped back a couple. That last strikeout was at 111.
And the eighth.
Eighth strikeout for Rita. Must be about 10 for the game for the Tigers, with Jade throwing a couple as well.
11 for the game. 3 to Jade.
How many is Sutherland Finch throwing, Lee? Just a question without notice. Swing and a miss there from McFarlane. She watched that first one through for a ball. 1-1 now, the count.
9.
Shakes off from Rita and she deals. That one's there. And strike 2.
We hit the ones.
Haven't seen her play a running bunt for many weeks now, so sometime it'll come.
Holds off on that one. There won't be a running bunt attempt with 2-2 the count. Well,
with this player, I wouldn't be surprised. What happened?
Swing and a miss. That one coming in at
111 k's an hour, and she goes after it.
Yep.
Not afraid to swing the bat, Vicky McFarlane. This is going to be a great duel, Jim. That's 3 pitches this innings, or this batter, that's come in at 111.
Hasn't she dialed it up?
And doesn't she keep her head over the ball to the last minute?
112, Jim, and look what happens.
Just catches the end of the bat as well, so McFarlane was nearly there with the timing of it, just a little ahead of it as it comes off the end of the bat. And a reasonably simple catch taken at first base from Chantel Lewis. Statewide Super Replay will show the pitch at 112. An outside curveball, if you don't mind. Now, we are pleasured to have the absolute fantastic sunsets here in Adelaide and have a look at the size of that moon that's just coming over the horizon now. We've got a great view of it here. It is bright, it is big, it is orange. Just over the roof of the Dog Club shed. If we can get a picture of that on Spacequake Sports. I do know that David Muggleton likes to capture a nice picture, whether it's off the cliffs of a cliff diver or if he's just at a sporting event. But gee, that one.
Look, there we go.
Have a look at that monster.
Well, Abby Mossman re-enters now in the catching position. So Murph came in, Georgia Murphy came in and had a hit for her last turn at bat without success. And here's the new hit of the game, who's now playing at right field, Becky Havis.
Very lucky to live in this state, aren't we, James? You know, beautiful, picturesque scenery. Everything's close. It's not too busy, but yet we can mess it up with the big boys.
Oh, that's Sutherland Finch with some work ahead of her to keep her side in front, because we're about to get to the top of the order for the Seacombe Tigers. Becky Harvest coming in for Munro, and if she can get a piece of this ball and get things started here for the Tigers, they should threaten and score and try to tie up the game. It's a big cut at this one, gets right under it, and swing and the miss.
I'm
Sutherland
not
Finch
quite-
will
yeah.
like that one. She'll want to keep it there now.
Sure, but I'm not quite sure what the port, or they're coming in now, the outfield. This is a new hit of the game. Other people have been in, had a couple of swings, a couple of turns at bat, and haven't been able to hit this pitcher. So I'm wondering why you'd play so deep.
Well, Harvis watches that one, and it is the first out of the inning. So strikeout number 10, was it, gentlemen, for
10 of
Sutherland
theirs.
Finch. What a performance here. Bottom of the 6th inning. We'll probably see some more to come. Peyton Daniels, the hitter. That one is up and out. 99 Ks, hits the back net. We've just seen that a couple of times, haven't we? It's just gotten away from pitcher Sutherland Finch, and is that because she's just trying that a little bit extra, or is she just
think
keeping
so.
the batters guessing?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, it's a weapon, isn't it, that rise ball? Not that the change-up's not a weapon, but that's where she does most of the damage with that rise ball. So
Yes.
she's just keeping it up and out of the wheelhouse of the hitters.
Oh, I'd be asking the question personally. Then I'd be wrong. That'd be the 3rd time tonight I'm wrong.
Only out of 2.
3 times I was wrong out of 2 statements. That's not too bad.
Oh,
My percentage is up.
it's a foreign language here next to me.
No, the call from the ISF, the WBSC Hall of Famer. Neville Lawrence behind the plate, Olympian.
He doesn't get bullied around too easily, does he? If he doesn't like it, he won't call it.
I tell you what, we've had 1 run only, but it's been a really tight, exciting game.
Well, considering their previous 9-0, 6-3 to Port Adelaide, and then a 4-1, it's closed right up.
Swing and a miss. Daniels, the 2nd strikeout, victim of the inning. We get back to the top of the order for the Tigers. And if they want to make a move, it's this time around in the batters lineup, because they're down to the last 4 outs.
Well, this is why she bats at the top of the order, Jenny Dunn, because she's an excellent player. So a hit the right field wouldn't be out of the question here.
Well, we are 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th, and we are going worldwide.
We're in the 5th, Jim. Sorry, we've got a little bit of a technical area there.
As I look over your shoulder, mate, we can just see that 3rd inning there was, that's my fault. I misread the scorecard, mate. So bottom
right.
of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th. Yeah,
That's right.
My mistake. My mistake.
The only reason I knew that because the ladies to the left of me have been yelling at me ever since we've been saying it, and I don't know what yeah, last 3 years, thanks, 30 years probably, Linda, you've been yelling at me. But we've rectified that now. Yeah, since that moon popped up, we don't know what's going on.
All right, Jenny Dunn now the hitter for the Tigers. So a little bit more breathing space for the Tigers, but
Oh, she won't like that call, Jim.
doesn't that make the strikeout count sound even more impressive now that it's after 5 innings and not 6? So, yeah, Dunn just a called strike on a 3-0 count. So Sutherland Finch just keeping it out of the strike zone. Dunn will ground out. This is just an error bobbled from the pitcher, Sutherland Finch. He won't be happy with that one. It came off with a bit of a crazy bounce and a little crazy spin off the end of the bat. Statewide Super Replay will show the 3-1 count.
But look at the quality of the cover from second base. Picks it up and could have... And I'll tell you what, Jim, it's not too bad, was it? A good stretch there from first, and we may have had a different outcome. But Sutherland Finch went after it. You get one of those hops, you never know what's going to
When
happen.
you're chasing one, they've got to steal, Jenny.
Well, we spoke about that, didn't we? She takes off on the pitch and she is going to arrive safely. So we called it about an inning and a half ago, and Jenny Dunn does take off on the first pitch of this at-bat from Steph Hull, runner on second base, scoring position with 2 out. That opens up first base. It's a 1-strike count, so Hull with her work ahead of her here to get the ball into play.
That's her only job right now, James, is to make contact, isn't it? Because you know that runner is Jenny Dunn's going to go.
And the outfield, especially centre field and right field, are far too deep for this hitter.
Her job is to make contact.
Swing and a miss, 101 k's an hour, and that magic that she does from the pitcher's hand, the rise ball from Sutherland Finch, is something to behold. As we complete 5, Port Adelaide lead 1-0. We're about 65, 70 minutes into the game, so still 20 minutes left in the game, guys. But how about this? We've got viewers from all over the world watching, from Florida to New York. I saw Lewis Weldon from Victoria watching the game, the great Louis Weldon.
And they're watching some quality pitching here tonight too, aren't they, James?
Yeah, we do appreciate everyone who's catching us live on Spacequake Sports, and that super moon is up and about tonight. Have a look at that. That's the size of a softball, that one. And we thank everyone for watching, and you can, if you're not watching the live stream, watch the highlights, the big plays, all from the Softball SA Facebook page, YouTube channel and Instagram. You catch the action from your home, from the comfort of your couch on NITV, Channel 34 on SBS nationally, Sundays at noon. And that's all very special thanks to Softball SA and Spacequake Sports. And thanks also to our broadcast partner, Statewide Super MC Sports and MK Services SA. Guys, what is left in this game?
Without stating the obvious, I'd say about 13 minutes or something like that. But look, I still think we are in for a cracking game. Anything can happen in the next innings, can't it, Lee? It's one run. It's not run. You're not home. It's one run.
To get that run, you need people on base.
Got 108 kilometres an hour coming down, Jim. What do they do?
Well, we saw McFarlane just missed time one before, so if the great McFarlane is just struggling with the timing, you'd probably expect the rest of this team to as well. But just bat on ball here, and Talia George has the right idea. Keep the bat through the strike zone as long as possible and get the ball into play, because we've seen, you know, a couple of missed hits and a couple of fielding mistakes and full toll taken from the Port Magpies as they got their runners on and limited opportunities and moved them around.
That last swing of the bat there where they just called foul ball, did that ball not go past the batter's box? Is that why they called it foul ball?
Dead ball.
Was it a dead ball, was it?
Yeah, so it's hit the batter and gone into the field of play. Great piece of the ball there from Talia George. She normally, or earlier in the season, was their lead-off batter, and we sung her praises earlier in the year, and this is why. Let's watch the statewide super replay. Just gets her hands through the ball and chops over the top of third base player Ebony McLean. Well backed up from Jenny Dunn to reduce it to just a single lead-off runner.
Yeah, you called that well, Jim. She choked up on the handle a lot, didn't she, when we watched that replay, and it just hit it straight into the ground. It went over third base.
Running bunt attempt from Maya Reader it is. And it fouls off. And we've seen a couple of running bunt attempts from her this game. Probably at least one per at bat, all going foul.
Yeah, unfortunately they're a bit too fancy and they're not just putting it in the play. Get around earlier and just do the job, put the ball down. You don't have to come around late, just get this runner on the second.
This one here just drops fair. Now it goes fair. Oh, she's got to take on the throw. Cara Schultz does a great relay from the outfield throw from Becky Harvest. Catches that runner trying to take the extra base.
Now the umpires are just questioning whether that was fair or foul. But they both looked at each other and sort of did the old I can't see, you can't see. There we go.
Foul is the call, and
wow,
statewide super replay. This is the Talia George running on base, and that was too close to call. We saw Maya reach safely. The relay from Seacombe, although turning the wrong way, she was able to force the tag play, but a life for the Magpies. We reset, runner on one with none out. 2 strikes is the count. Peyton Daniels just calling timeout. Just wants to make sure that Kim Reader knows what she's calling, or she wants to know what Reader wants to throw. Guys, that fair or foul, how close was that? It was too close for me to see.
Well, I think when I saw it live, and I thought it hit the orange bag on the full. And I think that's what they were just...
Great piece of the ball from Reader. This one bounces back to Kim Reader, just on the right side of the body, so couldn't quite get the glove across to take it in the pocket. Cara Schultz at shortstop was reading the ball to go up the middle. Statewide Super replay. Here it is on that fair or foul. Too far from the reach of the first base player, and that was foul. What a great call from the umpires to let the play finish before they discuss whether it was fair or foul. That is the experience that we have with these umpires. Great bunt from Catuzzo. The ball goes over for the first out of the inning. Advancing both runners into scoring position. Meyer on second. George on third. Statewide Super replay will show a great bunt. Good play from Chantel Lewis. Good cover from Steph Hull. Guys, it's all happening.
So what do you do here if you're Seacombe? You've got one of the biggest hitters of the ball here. She's put it over twice, I think, this season. The hyphenator, Sutherland Finch. You need to pitch her very carefully.
It's a little different time around than the last time she put Seacombe over the fence. It was Zara Munro throwing in at about high 90s. Kim Reader's throwing these ones in at 110 with movement and interest. So Sutherland Finch, though, Lee, good point. League leading 3 home runs for the season. Sophie Hoyle's just 1 behind, and then there's a couple of others in contention as well. Maddie Cameron and Belinda White have all got home runs so far this year.
Look how deep the Tigers' outfield are. Have a look at it.
Sacrifice fly will do.
Well, we talk about Sutherland Finch shutting the team down last time. Kim Reader, K2, K2, K2. The next 3 batters last innings.
If she makes this ball land in the outfield, Rita Meyer will score from second as well.
And you would call her?
Oh, I've forgotten.
Well, a bunt attempt or squares to bunt is good enough. Didn't even have to get bat on ball, and it forces that defensive mistake here. Let's watch Peyton Daniels. The question being asked, did it hit the batter?
Look, I thought she was limping. But no, she's happy enough to stand in there. No. Well, a little bit of a stumble as she was coming out of the box there. Good batting too by Sutherland Finch. Read that well.
Not a bad result for Seacombe, I don't think, getting her to walk. Maddie Matchkey comes into the game, have a hit. Batting for Ella Forrester this time.
And that pops up to Lee and Daniels. Oh, Daniels chasing that one. And gave a very good chase to Peyton Daniels.
I'm not catching that.
No.
Because then she has to turn. She's probably going to be falling to the ground if she catches it. And she's got to get it back.
We're with the runner, or Maya or Rita at third. We're and third's right down too, Lee. Like right down. So it's leaving third open, getting a big jump every time. Rita stepping it up now, looking. And a bunt attempt. Did she pull out there? Yes, she did. She went and.
Well, the runner was going through, wasn't she? The hyphenator.
Yeah. This makes it a 2-0 ball game.
And no strikeouts in this innings. Unless I missed one. I don't think so.
Well, the man who predicts it has just said it. Have I seen one? And there's another one. So she's come back strong with a strikeout. And her last, is it Jessie? Jess is last at bat was a strikeout, a K2 against Rita. Started off there. That won't deter her. She's a good batter in her own right, isn't she?
Certainly is.
We've all been K'd.
Swing and a miss from Neves. That one at 108. Has Rita just taken her foot off just a little bit to try and get some more control in this game, or is it just a little lethargic after pitching so hard? Or 111, she's right back up there, isn't she? So she's found that bit of extra pace.
She just rolls it over a little bit, Jim, doesn't she? And then she thinks, well, I'll get it going here. 111 Ks just off the corner. Unfortunately, didn't get it. But gets it this time, and a big strikeout for Rita to end the innings.
Well, after 6 inning, 77-minute mark, we are in the bottom half of the 6th inning for the Tigers. They need to get one back now, and if there's any more time left, they've got another chance to score another. But you'd want to do it now, wouldn't you? You're at the 3-hitter in the lineup with Maslin and Rita to follow. So if it's going to come, you'd think it's going to be right here and right now.
Well, look, Schultz is up. I'm correct there, Lee. Cara Schultz is up about 2 strikeouts previously. She won't want to end the night on 3 strikeouts or anything less than a safe hit. So she needs to show her stand up here, and I know she can. She's a determined young girl. She recently played in the Nationals, James?
Yeah, under 17 and under 19 Nationals, so she can swing a bat. Had her 17th birthday yesterday, and you know, she's been in this A-grade comp for 3 years now. Like, it's hard to believe that she's only 17, but she's going to go up there and reset and focus because she knows how important this turn-up bat is for her team.
And on the defensive side of things, Ella Forrester re-enters into the game at third base. Maddie Matchke had a hit for her unsuccessfully that last innings.
Well, it's all smiles out there for the Port Adelaide Magpies defence as they hold that 2-run lead. And perhaps after that 4-1 shock defeat just 11 days ago against this Tigers side, Sutherland Finch has shown some grit and determination tonight and held this team together as she's thrown her, you know, obligatory 12 strikeouts. And
she certainly looks as if she's back to the form that we saw early in the season.
Yeah, the question I asked a while ago, Lee, remember I said, has she lost some form or has the competition caught up to her? And we come to the conclusion that the competition had caught up to Katie Sutherland Fish midway. I think she stepped it up a notch. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so. I think you're right on all occasions there. I think that the opposition, the competition collectively caught up with her, rise, stayed out of the rise and got some hits, and obviously won some games against them. But I think tonight is as good as I've seen her pitch for a while.
Big cut from Cara Schultz, 2 balls and 2 strikes. She also ran into the likes of the Walkervilles and the West Torrens as well. After you know, moving into the season with you know, when the first time she played against the Seacombe side, I think the average age was something ridiculous of not 18 or 19 years of age, with 5 of the players still playing in the under 17 competition, a couple in the under 15s. So it was a different lineup though this half of the season, and Sutherland Finch though is looking sharp as tonight.
And that's an outstanding point you made.
Well, that's her first walk for tonight. And 2 loose ones in a row, which is unusual, isn't it? 1 hit the back net and then a high. So what have we got, 11 and a walk?
No, we've got 2 walks, 2 base on balls.
Oh, it is? Well,
Yeah,
I should take more notice of the game, Lee.
Yeah, both to Rita as well. Low, but close enough for Jess Maslin to have a cut at that one. Now, she will be going in with some confidence with a couple of hits already tonight. One was a running bump, the other was a screaming shot out to left field.
Here's the danger. Here's the danger right now, isn't it, Jim? Look at
Piece of the ball, and she's just off of it, but it's floating into no man's land. McFarlane gets out there in a hurry to get under it and takes a good catch, holding up the runner at first base, Cara Schultz. Statewide super replay. Watch McFarlane break back for this ball as she reads it perfectly off the bat. Took her eye of it for half a second, turns around, calls out the centre fielder, Talia George. Probably the centre fielder's catching it.
Oh, I didn't want to say that, but you got plenty of seniority out there, haven't you?
Change of pace on the outside edge, and Rita.
What are you thinking here, Lee? You're signalling what you think she's going to go?
No, I was thinking, why wasn't the catcher backing up for the next throw from Vicky to first base?
Right.
That's all.
You're always thinking one game ahead, one play ahead. You would have made a good coach back in your day. The boys tell me you were quite a coach. Modest too.
Well,
We'll check his microphone. I don't know if it's working here, mate.
First time in our lives that we've got the great man speechless. Perhaps some modesty setting in the old age. And Rita likes that one. So does Neville Lawrence. Calls a change of pace through for a called strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now Seacombe are running out of time now here. 82, 83 minutes.
You're in big trouble, Jim.
Need to score some runs right here and now, and Rita will go down on strikes, and Sutherland Finch was happy with that one.
That's I think that's a return serve on that one.
Well, this here is an obvious tactic to run down the clock, because Sims knows that if he can hold up play for 1 more minute, that will be all they need, and we will see Sims try to delay this as long as possible as Sutherland, Finch and Mossman just share a word, and plate umpire officiating will just remind Butch Sims that we're all under you, and a smile on the face of the garden gnome as he comes off. So Chantel Lewis up to bat. She's struggled a little bit tonight.
Bit of sportsmanship there from Butch. He'll be enjoying this right now, won't he?
Well, back in the winner's circle, as we said at the top of the show, as we can see on the vision here, they're 12 wins and 6 losses on the season. They started the year with 9-0. So timeout just called. Was that by the batter then, Lee? Or?
I think it was the batter, because the umpire Lawrence just moved to another position then.
Swing and a miss there from
103.
Lewis.
Well, I think if they're going to try and get into it, they've got to send this runner, Cara Schultz. So she's got to go on this pitch.
Well, it's do or die now, isn't it, Lee?
Yeah,
You know what's impressed me about Sutherland and Finch tonight is they're consistent over 100 for the whole game. Like, okay, 99 that one was, but we're looking at 103, 104, 101, like consistently. She does not give up, does she?
yeah. But it's her control tonight, isn't it? She's been in complete charge of herself. 14 K2s at the moment.
Well,
Could it be 15?
She does show a lot of grit and determination, and we'll watch this pitch go through for a strikeout. And Sutherland Finch gets her 14th, 15th strikeout lead. And I was just saying that the grit that she shows earned the nickname in college of the Pitbull, and it's because of the fight that she shows. And time and game called. So the tactics works there from Butch Sims. We don't go to a 7th inning, which would have been fascinating to see. But we see the Port Magpies running out winners, 2 runs to 0. Guys, let's talk about how they scored their runs. All offensive pressure. It started with Vicky McFarlane. She got that infield single and moved across to second and then third in a hurry, and able to score on a slight fielding error and misjudgment. And then their second run came because Talia George got that ball into play, and then advanced from Rita Meyer. They got lucky there on that fair or foul play, and And then they took full toll when Sutherland Finch let a pass ball go through the batter's box. And George scored from third, and that was it. They were the 2 runs scored in the game.
I'll tell you what, the play of the night for me was Vicky McFarlane's stolen second base on the hit to 5, and then held up, and then it wasn't a big hit. It was just a bit of a dribbler, wasn't it, to 5, and she legged it out and saw that, and then she went. No one was covering second base, and the way that she slid. Now I don't want to exaggerate, Lee, because I've been known to exaggerate, but I reckon she slid about 20 feet from the base and landed. What do you think?
Well, I think that's a long way,
It is,
Mark, but I bow to your better judgment.
It was a fantastic slide, though, wasn't it? She gave it everything. She had plenty of leg speed, and the dive was perfect. So congratulations to her. For me, that was the play of a game that was dominated by 2 very, very good pitchers.
Yeah, and I think that Jess Madison's hit shouldn't go unnoticed. The cracking shot on the ground out to left field. That was the hardest shot of the night.
There was a couple of good things by Seacombe. They strung 2 or 3 hits together, but then the tail end sort of it stopped wagging, didn't it?
Well, twice they had Jess and Kim on first and second. Twice, once with none out. So that would have been handy, but not to be. Entertaining game though. Entertaining.
We look at. Sorry, Jim. I know you want to get on board here, but 1, 2, 3, 4. So the last 4 of Seacombe. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 strikeouts between them tonight. So the tail really wasn't wagging at all, unfortunately.
No, it was a pitcher's night, wasn't it?
I'm enjoying this, guys. Keep up this chat, because we saw an absolute cracker of a game. 4th place Port Magpies versus the 6th place Seacombe Tigers, and the result probably came out as probably expected. I know you both tipped a close game, and Mark, you tipped the win to go in favour of the Magpies tonight. The top 4's already set, so perhaps we can just talk about how this game tonight and the result is going to shape the top 4 as we get to it in a moment. We'll talk some statewide super performances, and then we'll wrap things up. But Mark, you spoke about over-exaggeration. I did hear someone say in the stands that we had about 1,500 people watching here live, so it's a great atmosphere, as well as we saw 2 great teams play some terrific softball. So Lee, what do you have for us there as far as the shaping of the top 4?
Shaping of the top 4, on top it's West Torrens after 19 games, 28 points. Walkerville second after 20 games, 27 points. Sturt after 21 games, third with 27 points. Same amount of points as Walkerville. And Port Adelaide now go up to 26 points. And they've played 19 games. So they've got a couple of games up their sleeve.
Yeah, they've still got to play all other teams once more, is that right? So
Yeah.
so Seacombe, that was the last time they played Seacombe. They still got to play West Torrens, Walkerville and Sturt in their last, as they play 5 more games, Hills and Glenelg, of course. And then you have a look at the other teams in the top 4, Walkerville and Sturt. They were due to play tonight, tied on points, so the winner of that game would have moved into second, clear second, but Port Adelaide are still in the mix for a top 2 finish.
Certainly are. So tomorrow night's game, that's been shifted to tomorrow night, you said, didn't you, between Sturt and Walkerville on this diamond?
Under the bylaws, they play tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Yes, yep. Keep going, guys. Doing well.
I'm looking at the Port Adelaide. They've got the ability, like you guys just said, top 2. They're only 1 run out, but you have a look at their runs against. They've crept up to 39. Their runs against, when you look at West Torrens 46, Walkerville 35, but Sturt's the surprise one. They're 62 runs against, 91-4. That's going to be the danger. Sturt's runs against may drop them down, won't it?
Yeah, it's Walkerville, Port Adelaide and West Torrens with the least runs.
All right, now just one more segment here, the statewide super performances. You can't go past the pitches for tonight. We saw the return of Jade Peterson, who cameoed there at the start of the game, and then Kim Reeder came in and was blowing some 112 km/h curveballs past the Port batters, but they
Port Adelaide hitters did a great job scoring 2 runs on Rita. And then, of course, on the other side for Port Adelaide, Katie Sutherland Finch, another shutout for the year. I would have to say Sutherland Finch is up there for statewide performance of the game. Otherwise, Vicky McFarlane for causing havoc on bases. But to top it off for me as a dark horse, the centre fielder, Talia George, was the one that moved Vicky McFarlane, was the one that scored in their last turn of the game. So Talia George for me, guys.
Yeah, I think Talia is probably the best game well, since Christmas, in any case. You know, so that's good signs for the Magpies.
Throw a blanket over it.
Yeah, but 14 strikeouts, a lot of strikeouts in the game.
You got a special mention there to Abby Mossman as well, who caught a great game for the Magpies. Well, that'll just about do it for us here at West Beach in Adelaide, South Australia. Thank you very much, Mark Cramp, Lee Hull, and our team at Spacequake Sports. Thank you to statewide Super MC Sportswear and MK Services SA. I'm James Harris from Softball SA. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.